What is up, guys? It is PDS. Today I'll be showing you the deck I used to get to Platinum 1 Season 3. It was Heroes. So Season 1 I did use Heroes. It was a pretty interesting deck list. This was like really early into the game. Season 2 I used Zodiac. And now I have used Heroes. So again, this is pretty similar to what I use in tournaments, but I'll get into what I've changed just for the ladder. So 3 max C. Obviously this card is busted. No explanation needed. 2 increase. This card, a lot of people like 1 or 2. I like 2. Just up to preference, really. Ash Blossom, I like to keep the deck as close to 40 as possible. Reason being is because I always have, when I play 41 or 42 or 43 or more, there's games where I don't see match change, and then I'm like, man, if I was closer to 40, would I have seen it? So to remove that doubt from my head, I just keep the count to as close to 40 as possible. And Ash Blossom is one of those cards where it's like, it's not as impactful as you might imagine in the meta game, especially with all the combo decks, like Emancipator and Drytron. Those decks, even if you Ash Blossom them, a lot of the times they have enough cards and extenders to keep going and to make the uncrackable boards. So it's just this card is good, but I just find it to be not as impactful as other cards such as Droplets, Maxi. Those cards are way better in my opinion. So I'm playing it at 2. You can play 3, but that's just my reasoning. 2 Stratos, because honestly this card, it makes you lose to Nibiru. I know you guys probably sick of me saying this, but the Vion, the Ferris line, the Vision Hero Ferris line, that makes you summon way too many times, and you're gonna play into Nibiru. If you don't have any fear of Nibiru, then go ahead, play 3 Stratos if you want. But for me, 2 is enough, especially with 3 a hero lives. The space is really tight, so yeah. So 2 Vion, this card is amazing. I would play 3 copies. I still don't have the 3rd one, but like I said, space is also pretty tight, so 2 Vion is fine. You're gonna see a lot of 2-ofs in this deck. A lot of the cards get to the cards, so does that make sense? So a lot of the cards get to other cards. So like basically if you play Ferris, you have additional copies of Vion. Increase is also Vion, but not really. And then a hero lives is like anything, so you have a lot of ways to get to a lot of your cards. So yeah, 2 Shadow Mist, because you just want 1 to dump and then 1 later on to get you to your Honest Neos or whatever you need. And yeah, 1 Celestial. With this version, I would recommend Draw Hand instead. That's a hero Draw Hand. But just for whatever reason, I forgot to change it. But it worked out actually. So, but I will warn you that because you're playing Nibiru and Ash Blossom and Maxi, there's gonna be situations where you have a lot of hand traps in your hand and you won't be able to resolve Celestial's Grave effect to draw 2. So, just keep that in mind. 1 Liquid Soldier. So Liquid Soldier is actually like one of the most important cards in the deck. He gets you your initial draws, and then he gets you follow-up draws. So you don't use Miracle Fusion on your first turn, use it on the following turn. If you guys have seen my hero guide, which is also on the channel, I'll put it in the comments, in the pinned comments, my hero guide. You'll see all of the combos with Liquid, but he is very, very good in this deck. So 3 Ferris, this card is extremely good, and also it's a very weird card because it's an extender, but it makes you play into Nibiru, which is something that, this deck, a lot of people, when they play this deck, they're going to tell you this deck sucks because it loses to Nibiru. And it's true, it does lose to Nibiru, but there's ways to play around it. I'm going to show you guys some replays in another video because I actually have just so many replays. I'm just going to have to put it in a separate video, but look out for that real soon. I have that pinned in the comments as well. You're going to see how you can play into Nibiru super hard, but also play around it. So I'm going to have all kinds of replays in that video. Dynatag, just for the Dystopia boost. And honestly, I had one game where a guy, he had like a monster with like 13,000 attack going for game, and Dynatag saved my ass. So he does have a hand effect to discard, make yourself take no battle damage, and you each take 1,000. So that actually does come up sometimes. So don't forget that, especially against that Numeron deck. That Numeron deck also, you're going to want to be searching for Dynatag. That deck is pretty prevalent on the ladder, I'd say. I play it against a lot of it this season. 2 Malicious, self-explanatory. Honest Neos, just for the OTKs. 2 Nibiru, so this is a little bit different. Normally, these are Foolish Burial and Reinforcements of the Army. So if you don't have Nibiru, you can still play Reinforcements of the Army and then find like another card. I wanted to put in Nibiru because this season especially, I found myself playing against Drytron going second, all of these decks going second. And, you know, I just can't handle, like, if I don't draw Maxi, Ash, or Droplets or something, and that was happening a lot. I wasn't drawing any of those cards. So I was ending up just losing without even getting to play a single card. Or, you know, like they take the Maxi challenge and I have nothing to draw into. So Nibiru gives me something to draw into with Maxi, an actual threat. Not only Droplets, but also Nibiru. Because, you know, there's a lot of decks like Rongo, you know, Virtual World. They end on like cards that, like, even if you draw Droplets, it's not going to matter. So Nibiru gives you something that, and a lot of people don't even respect Nibiru. Like, people will tell you Heroes lose to Nibiru and nobody plays Nibiru on the ladder, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you are the one playing Nibiru, then they are the ones that are gonna have to worry about it, and they're not going to, because everybody has that mindset. So Nibiru is just an insanely powerful card right now. It is a UR, another UR to add to this deck. So if you guys you don't want to try it, that's fine, but it works for me. So yeah, 1 Polymerization, 1 Miracle Fusion, 3 A Hero Lives, 3 Fusion Destiny, 3 Mass Change, 2 Call by the Grave. Honestly, this card was kind of being annoying to me going second. It doesn't really do that much going second, but it is very good in the Outlist matchup, and it is very good going first, so that's why you got to play it. And 3 Droplets. Please, guys, you need to play this in your hero deck. It is just by far the best card in the deck. One of the best cards, one of the best techs even. So yeah, that is the main deck. 40 cards, pretty clean. So questions I usually get asked, you know, no Evil Hero, no Plasma, you know, no Plasma / D-Force. Why don't I play those cards? So for the Evil Hero, the explanation is pretty simple. So the way I play the deck, I am very focused on Trinity. I've learned to play the deck with Trinity. If you're a newer player to Heroes, you might want to adapt to play to the Malicious Bane playstyle, which is, you know, 100% understandable, but it does include another 2 cards in your main deck, so you're going to lose 2 tech spots, which is pretty big for me. So that was one thing. So you lose tech spots. Number 2, Dark Calling is a brick, another brick to add to a lot of these bricks. So, you know, you have, you really don't want to be opening Miracle Fusion, you know, Polymerization. A lot of the Destiny heroes suck to open. Increase, you know, there's a lot. So, like, some of the heroes are not really bricks, but, you know, you definitely don't want them in your hand, right? So when you add Dark Calling and a Dusted Gold is a great card. Malicious Bane is a great card. But for me, I just didn't like seeing Dark Calling in my hand, especially if you're trying to grind for Plat 1, you're going to be seeing a lot of hands where, you know, they're almost damn near unplayable, right? So you're like, you know, this deck sucks, all of this and that, but it's just variance, you know, sometimes you brick. So to reduce the amounts of bricks I have, I just try to remove, you know, obviously bricks. So to see less bricks, I play less bricks. And yeah, you know, I'm not going to doubt that the power level is insanely high for Malicious Bane, but, you know, for me, I never really missed him either. I've never had games, even in the actual TCG. I played with him when he came out, and I haven't played him, you know, in like almost a year or 2. I don't miss him, and I played him in my Season 1 deck. If you guys want to check out my Season 1 deck, I'll have that in the, you know, in the comments pinned. Honestly, you know, I don't miss him. So, yeah, that is my explanation. And as for Plasma, there's a little card called Lightning Storm. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. This card is insanely good, and unfortunately for Plasma, his defense is just so weak, he's going to have to be an attack. So he's always going to get Lightning Stormed a lot of the time, and it doesn't seem that impactful to me. Also, you play really hard into Nibiru, so right off the bat, you know, the way I play heroes, I try to play safe, and, you know, I'm putting everything in defense, and I'm playing around Nibiru, and Plasma is a card that does not allow me to do either of those things. So I choose to not play it. Of course, you can play D-Force and all of these cards, but then you're losing out on actual tech cards. Like, you're losing out on spaces for Maxi and Nibiru, and even, you know, if you're playing a Dusted Gold and stuff, you don't have space for him either. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So yeah, that is my reasonings for that. And now let's move on to the extra deck. So Double Dark Law, this card's really good. Blast, he's actually pretty nice for playing around Skill Drain. And also, he's just nice to play around Imperm as well. Dangerous. A lot of people don't summon this guy. I summon this guy all the time. He is so good. Even for the boost, you know, sometimes I'd be sending Celestial to the graveyard. He's really strong and underrated in my opinion. You can send Shadow Mist to the graveyard. You send Malicious to the graveyard. You know, you get your Mass Change play. All of that is in my guide, by the way. If you guys don't know, the 1-card Mass Change combo. And yeah. So what Sunrise, he's made off of Polymerization with your Liquid, really nice. Absolute Zero with the Miracle. Trinity, this card is MVP for sure. He wins me a lot of my games. I've seen people say they never played him, they never summoned him. It actually leaves me astonished because this guy is really nice. And he plays around Nibiru, so really, really cool. 1 Acid, of course, for the back row decks. 1 is Yugioh. You play this just because you get locked into dark monsters sometimes with Fusion Destiny. So yeah, and he's just another, you know, Omni hero target. 1 Dystopia, he's really good. 1 Wonder Driver. A lot of people also, this is another card where they're like, you know, this guy doesn't come up, I never make him. If that's you, definitely check out my guide to show you how to play him. 2 Cross Crusader, 1 Verte. This is another card where people were like, he never comes up, I never make him. That's going to be in the replays, the replay video that's coming up after this one. That's going to be coming out after this video. You'll get to see me making Verte a lot, and you're going to see the application. Basically, he's just, you know, a backup plan. And then finally, 1 Dread Decimator. This guy, he just has Piercing, and he gives you Dystopia boost sometimes. So yeah, that is the deck. Honestly, the deck is pretty good. Obviously, it's very expensive, so if you're free to play, this is probably going to be the only deck on your account. I'm not even kidding. So I would definitely make a separate account for this. Very expensive deck, but it can definitely hold its own against the meta. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. This has been PDS, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Oh yeah, and don't forget to look out for that replay video coming out real soon.